Part 41. The Lucky Bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 401. Chapter 401 Zhang Xiaoxiao is your daughter. Yehua received a telegram from his son that Lu Hongmei had given birth to a daughter. Fang Piashong also asked Yehua to help him with activities immediately, and the second batch of names to return to the city came down. Fang Piashong must come back. Yehua put the telegram into the drawer and felt panicked. What to do? Her son is coming back, but what can she do? Now Fang Ziwen is like a puddle of mud if he doesn't get drunk and doesn't go home every day. Mr. Fang and Mrs. Fang looked down upon them even more. Even if you die, you won't open your mouth. Yehua felt that he was really unlucky. The only person who could make a difference now was Fang Ziwei. Fang Ziwei married Song Mohuan. It makes sense for the Song family not to help them, and this kind of thing is not a big deal. It only takes one word from the Song family. She is going to find Fang Ziwei. Yehua looked at the time. It was already after 6 o'clock. It was already dark after 6 o'clock in winter. But she was so anxious that she couldn't go. Today is Friday, and Fang Ziwei is still in the medical school. I am afraid that Fang Ziwei will go back to her home tomorrow, and it will not be convenient to find Fang Ziwei then. Hint-heartedly, Yehua took his leather bag and went out. Out of the courtyard, there is a tree-lined avenue, but because of the cold winter months, there is no tree-lined path here, but Yehua doesn't like it here. In summer and winter, there are always shadows, as if there are always people hiding among the trees. She hurriedly speeded up, trying to get through as quickly as possible. A dark shadow came out of the darkness. Yehua trembled in his heart and clutched the leather bag in his hand. You won't be robbed. I have sent all my salary this month to my son, but I have no money. Yehua. A cold voice made Yehua shiver. Taking a step back, Yehua felt as if he had seen a ghost. You're out. Yes, I came out. Thank you for taking so much effort to set up a trap for me. Unfortunately, I didn't die and came out fine. Wu Weiguo walked out of the shadows. The woolen coat on his body still gave him an elegant and noble temperament. What do you want? Let me tell you, you are a prisoner of labor reform. If you dare to do whatever you want, you, let go of me. Yehua's last words were cut off in his throat and spat out indistinctly. His eyes were red and his lungs seemed to be burning. Yehua felt that he was going to die. She knew that if Wu Weiguo came out, she would die, but she didn't expect that Wu Weiguo would come out so soon. Wasn't he meant to be imprisoned for the rest of his life? That lied to himself. This is a lifetime. Let her go and take her away. Wu Weiguo coughed a few times. His body was really useless. It happened every time. He seemed to be getting old. Yes. The man in the black coat held Yehua and dragged him into the woods. Wu Weiguo sat on a stone. Someone diligently gave him a coat, and Wu Weiguo took off his leather gloves. Mittens patted his hands again. Yehua looked at Wu Weiguo from the hands of the man in black with difficulty. Wu Weiguo, I have a secret that you can't expect. If I die, you will never know this secret in your life. She knew that the secret would not do her any good at all, but she still told it now to save her life. I just hope I can save my life. Haha, I have a daughter, right? Wu Weiguo's warm voice made Yehua feel cold. How did Wu Weiguo know? Impossible. No one knows the secret. Even Fang Ziwen doesn't know it. It has been buried in his heart for so many years. No one in the world knows the secret. Yehua's mind was in a mess. How did Wu Weiguo know? How did Wu Weiguo know? What else do you know? My own value is gone. Is Wu Weiguo looking for her to settle the score? She will not forget Wu Weiguo's coldness when he woke up the next day and saw her. He said one word, "Get out." If Yehua hadn't known that Wu Weiguo didn't kill women, he would have thought that Wu Weiguo had killed him. Zhang Xiaoxiao. It's not a question, it's an affirmative answer. Yehua felt completely cold. No, Zhang Xiaoxiao is not your daughter. Your daughter was sent away by me to a place no one knows. If you dare to go against me, you will never see her again in your life. The iron clamp on his throat was loosened, and Yehua could finally shout out a complete sentence. Breathing freely, Yehua's eyes filled with tears, he almost died. This feeling of being alive is really touching. He, Yehua, it seems you don't know me very well, Butcher. Ms. Yehua doesn't like to tell the truth, then please teach her how to talk to me. Wu Weiguo lit a cigarette, and Yehua was instantly pulled over by the flickering light. Good. A pair of big cold hands touched Yehua's arm. A biting pain came. Yehua was so painful that he wanted to faint, but unfortunately the person in front of him had a cold light in his eyes, staring at her playfully, as if waiting for her to faint. Yehua was suddenly alert and could not faint. If these people really wanted to kill people and silence them, he would not even have a chance to call for help. Don't be confused yourself. Since Wu Weiguo asked himself this, he already knew Zhang Xiaoxiao's existence, and there was no benefit at all in lying. My mind was spinning rapidly, like a high-speed machine, thinking about an escape route. I said. Yehua looked at the hands that left him, feeling like he was surviving a disaster. Wu Weiguo is not the Wu Weiguo he knew before. Wu Weiguo seemed to have a cold air now, and there were people around him. There were no such people before. She didn't know who these people were, but she could taste the methods of these people. His left arm drooped unnaturally. Yehua's slightest movement would cause excruciating pain. Fear in my heart. Tell me, do you want to try again? Wu Weiguo absent-mindedly tapped his gloves in his palms. In the distant darkness, Yehua couldn't see Wu Weiguo's expression clearly, but he knew that the man in black beside him seemed to have clenched his fists. The sound of bones cracking made her feel afraid. Zhang Xiaoxiao is your daughter. Yehua didn't dare to take any chances at this time. In this wilderness, if Wu Weiguo is really cruel, he will die without knowing it. Compared with his small life, Yehua is afraid of death. Then why did the Zhang family get into the hands of the Zhang family? The Fang family can't raise a child? That idiot Fang Ziwen, you can't possibly tell him who the child is. Just throw your own child to others. Yehua's heart was racing. Only she knew the truth of this matter, and no one else knew about it. She can't say that she replaced Zhang Xiaoxiao on purpose and abandoned Zhang Xiaoxiao on purpose, even if Wu Weiguo could keep her alive. Even if the hospital made a mistake, we raised someone else's child, this is really a mistake. If she had not explained so eagerly, Wu Weiguo would still believe in this possibility. It's a pity that Yehua is too anxious. The consequence of being impatient was that Wu Weiguo chuckled. Yehua, you can't change this problem in this life. You will lower your head whenever you tell a lie and want to hide under the ground. You have wanted to abandon that child for a long time. You did it on purpose. You want my daughter to suffer in this life. Yehua, why don't people like you die earlier? Wu Weiguo's cold voice made Yehua feel cold all over. I can't die, I can't die. Xiao Xiao knows that I am her biological mother. If she knows that her biological father killed her biological mother, how do you want her to live with herself in the future? How do you want her to survive? Yehua defended in panic. This was the only excuse Yehua could think of. As long as they are human beings, no one is willing to let their children bear such pain. Wu Weiguo may be dismissive of her, but Zhang Xiaoxiao is his bloodline. Wu Weiguo came to his door today, wasn't it because he was angry that he had abandoned Zhang Xiaoxiao? This proves that Wu Weiguo does not care about this child as much as he sees. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 402. Chapter 402. Pregnancy is a bitter topic. On the first day of the new year, Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding went to pay New Year greetings to Mr. Song and Mrs. Song, carrying gifts. Originally I wanted to go to Fan Jiuying and Zhang Lishi to pay New Year's greetings on the first day of the Lunar New Year. But Fan Jiuying had already told her on New Year's Eve that according to the rules here, she was not allowed to visit her parents' house on New Year's Day. Don't let them come back together. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at Fan Jiuying, who looked worried and had no choice but to agree. There are so many rules in her heart. Having to wait until the second grade of junior high school to see my family. Two people arrived at the Song family. The Song family is gathered together today. This is also the first time Zhang Xiaoxiao has been with so many Song family members. Of course there is that annoying Fang Xiaowai. Fang Xiaowai is currently playing chess with the old man. However, Zhang Xiaoxiao could tell how good Fang Xiaowai's chess skills were when he saw the old man's despairing look. Seeing Zhang Xiaoxiao, the old man almost immediately threw down the chess piece and shouted happily with relief. "Xiaoxiao, you are finally back. I haven't seen you in the past few days. This Mo Ting insists that you are busy. Why are you busy? Your grandma talks about it every day, and my ears are calloused." Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding gave New Year greetings to the old man and the old lady. The old lady and the old man were so happy that they stuffed a red envelope into their hands. The old lady also took Zhang Xiaoxiao to her room. Fang Xiaowai glared at Zhang Xiaoxiao's back bitterly. Is Zhang Xiaoxiao so lucky? It's not right. Fang Xiaowai has been thinking about it over and over in the past few days. She guessed that Zhang Xiaoxiao was reborn like her, otherwise everything that happened to Zhang Xiaoxiao would seem to be completely different from the previous life. It is not something that can be produced by a small butterfly effect on your own. Zhang Xiaoxiao jumped around for another 2 days, not believing that Zhang Xiaoxiao would not die. Zhang Xiaoxiao must die. Grandma, what are you doing? Looking at the box of jewelry that the old lady took out, there was really everything there was, including emeralds, jade, cat's eye diamonds. Hurry up and pick out the New Year's gifts Grandma gave you. These will be yours from now on. This is Grandma's dowry. If your grandpa hadn't been protecting me, these things would have been taken away long ago. Now Grandma has left them all to you. The old lady's family used to be capitalists. If it weren't for the old man who really couldn't keep these things, ordinary people would definitely not be able to keep them anyway. Zhang Xiaoxiao knew what the old lady was thinking, so he chose a small and exquisite earring without being polite. He specially picked something very inconspicuous. It looked like rhinestones and had the shape of water droplets, but it was even more unattractive when worn on the ears. Attention! Actually, she knew that the old lady's things were all good, and the others were too eye-catching. There was a room full of people below, all staring at it. If I take it out in such a big way, I won't arouse jealousy. It will also make people say that the old lady is partial. The old lady was a little unhappy. Are you afraid that your uncles and uncles will tell you? Let me tell you, don't worry. I have told them before that all the dowry of my old lady was left to Mo Ting, and they were worried about it. It's clear. If anyone dares to speak out about this, I'll let your grandpa slap them. Let me tell you, even though your uncles and uncles are so old, your grandfather still has a big mouth when he has a bad temper. I feel sorry for this child who is a little too sensible. Coming from a family like theirs, there is no need to be so sensible. Being arrogant is also a Song family. Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled. Grandma, you really wronged me. I chose this because I am young. I wear jewelry like this that is more in line with my status and age. I will wear bracelets, necklaces, etc. like yours. I can't hold it back either. It's like a child wearing an adult's high heels. People don't laugh at them when they wear them. Do you think this is true? When I need to wear these things when I get older, I promise to come to you and ask for them. You said this today, but you will leave it to me from now on. Brother Song doesn't have a share either. This is my personal property. I will leave it to my children in the future. I will also find a lovely daughter-in-law to leave it to her in the future. Zhang Xiaoxiu's words with a smile made the old lady narrow her eyes. Yes, leave it to your daughter-in-law from now on. Looked at Zhang Xiao's belly suspiciously. The marriage of these two children is not short, but it seems that the children still have no faith. The old lady who has long wanted to hold her great-grandson and is going crazy cannot hide her thoughts. Zhang Xiaoxiao blushed when the old lady looked at her. Judging from the look in the old lady's eyes, she definitely recognized him correctly. Her mother Fan Qiuying also nags in her ears every day, telling her that she should have a child with Song Moding. It won't delay their going to college, and the children can be left to their parents to take care of them. Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding really didn't use contraception. But it's also true that you don't have children. Zhang Xiaoxiao was a little sad. Although she had not been married for many years in her previous life, she still did not have a child of her own. She actually longed to have a child, at least her own flesh and blood, but she did not have one in her previous life. She had a physical examination in the hospital and found that all aspects of her body were normal. However, I still have no children in this life. Zhang Xiaoxiao felt that maybe the child was not destined to him, otherwise they were both in good health, but they had no child. When Mrs. Song saw Zhang Xiaoxiao's face, she thought she was putting pressure on her child, so she hurriedly said, "Xiaoxiao, you are still young and have plenty of time. Besides, when you are on the farm, you are so busy with work on weekdays, the environment there is harsh, and there is no food or drink. How can you have time to take care of your body? Now back to Beijing, with your grandparents and parents, we will take care of your body and take good care of you. Don't worry, there will be children in the future, we are not in a hurry." She was afraid that Zhang Xiaoxiao would be too burdened by this. Zhang Xiaoxiao knew that the old lady was trying to comfort her. But what weighs heavily in my heart is knowing the old man's ardent hope and the hope of his family. Zhang Xiaoxiao's worries will be even heavier. After all, she was in very good health in her previous life, but she had no children. This is still the case so far in this life. Zhang Xiaoxiao sometimes thinks that maybe God has stipulated that she cannot have children of her own after enjoying the treatment of rebirth. Suddenly there was a chaotic noise downstairs. Zhang Xiaoxiao and the old lady were stunned. What's going on? The two people hurriedly went downstairs. However, he saw Fang Xiaowai sitting on the sofa supported by stars like a moon. Her face was obviously pale, but her eyes were full of joy. Song's mother was giving Fang Xiaowai instructions in a slow and soft voice. "Xiaohui, this is your first child, so you must be careful, and be careful when eating and drinking. Tell your mother what you want to eat, and your parents will definitely find a way. This is the first great-grandson of our Song family, and you are the hero of our Song family." Zhang Xiaoxiao's eyes flashed. Fang Xiaowai was pregnant. Fang Xiaowai was married not long ago, less than a month in total. It was found out that she was pregnant now. It seems that Fang Xiaowai used some tricks to catch Song Mohuan. Mr. Song smiled cheerfully. After all, there was a fourth generation and a new addition. How could the old man not like it? "Well done, hero, Mohuan, you have to take good care of Xiaowai, otherwise I won't be able to spare you." Song Mohuan felt happy when his grandfather told him this. Grandpa had never been so affectionate to him. It seems that his son is much better than himself. By taking advantage of the child, I might be able to take away some of Song Moding's favor. "Grandpa, we are young and don't have much experience, otherwise, Xiaowai and I will move back here, and with you and Grandma watching over us, your great-grandson will definitely be born safely. This is an opportunity to break the habit of Song Moding being pampered by his grandparents alone." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 403. Chapter 403, Nothing happened yet, just kicked the nose and hit the face. As soon as these words came out, everyone stared at the old man. Their family has moved out since their son became an adult. In recent years, apart from Song Moding, there has been no one else around the old man and the old lady. No other people are allowed to stay with the two elders. That was Song Moding's unique favor. Many people are jealous, but they all know that the old man and the old lady prefer Song Moding, and no one can get past her. This time everyone is watching to see if Song Moding's status will be squeezed out by a great-grandson. Old Mrs. Song coughed and cleared her throat. Everyone looked over. It's so troublesome to move here and there. Your mother gave birth to 2 children, and you were raised well by your mother. Go back and ask your parents for advice. They know much more than us 2 old guys. The old lady blocked the road with just one word. Fang Xiaowai felt disappointed. Even though she was pregnant, she couldn't make the old lady change her mind. Is Song Moding that good? If she had known this, she might as well have married Song Moding. In my previous life, I knew only a little about the Song family and knew that Song Moding existed. However, Song Moding was very low-key. Many people had never seen Song Moding and didn't know what kind of person Song Moding was. I only knew that Song Mohuan later stood brightly in front of people. How did I know that there was such an inside story? Song Mohuan and Song Moding are not on the same level. Fang Xiaowai secretly regretted it. Mother Song's face is not good looking. The old lady is so stubborn. A great-grandson can't compare to Song Moding. Song King he saw his wife about to open her mouth and smiled hurriedly. That's right, my parents are old, so if the children go back, they won't be tired. We can do it, we can do it. Tugged Song Mu's sleeve. Mother of Song, shut up. The entire Song family is partial to others. Song Qingyun also smoothed things over. Okay, don't hang around Xiaowai, let her have a good rest, my dear, go to dinner and see what delicious food is made. Let's start the meal quickly. Today is a good celebration. Xiao Hui also stood up and pulled Zhang Xiao. Let's go. Xiao, go with the eldest aunt. The eldest aunt knows that the food you cook is the most delicious. The old man has been praising you in my ears all day long. I have long wanted to. Those who learn 1.5 moves can still show their skills in front of the old man. I have been told by my husband to be kind to Zhang Xiao. Zhang Xiao cannot be left out in this opportunity. After all, the whole family is now surrounding Fang Xiaowai. Zhang Xiao looked a little sad. Fang Xiaowai had a child not long after she got married. She had been married for such a long time and still had no children. This contrast made people feel really sad. Following her aunt into the kitchen with a forced smile, she knew Xiao Hui meant well. I also want to use cooking to divert my attention, at least I won't feel so sad. Although she knew whether she had children or not, it was God's will, but the moment she saw other people having children, she was still very envious, even though Fang Xiaowai was her enemy in her mind. But there is no other way. What this enemy now has is exactly what she desires. This is probably envy and jealousy. The aunt in the kitchen has already prepared a lot of dishes. With the New Year and holidays, families like them only receive welfare benefits, and they can't even finish the food they receive. No rare thing is a big deal here, so chicken, duck, fish and meat are all available. But the dishes are still the same. Zhang Xiao knows the taste of the old man and the old lady. In fact, the tastes of the old man and the old lady are very different. The old man likes spicy food and likes to eat food with strong taste. This is not the case with the old lady. The old lady's taste is more southern and she likes Cantonese dishes. Zhang Xiaoxiao made a dish of flavored shrimp and Mao's braised pork, plus plain cut chicken, crispy roast goose and steamed mandarin fish. With the other dishes cooked by Auntie, it is perfect. Seeing Zhang Xiaoxiao busy there, Xiao Hui also helped him. Can't help but praise again and again. Xiao, I really didn't realize that most people don't know how to do this. The dishes you make are from both the north and the south. Over the years, we all know the tastes of the old man and old lady, but we really can't make so many delicious ones. Dishes. I have seen some of your dishes at state banquets. And look at your braised pork, the smell now smells delicious even to me, not to mention the mouth-watering shrimp you are making now, it is so delicious. Mo Ting is really blessed to have married you. Even I am envious to death. Zhang Xiaoxiao's chest was tight. She probably hadn't gotten over the emotion just now, so she was feeling tight in her chest. Auntie, please don't praise me, the shrimps are ready and the braised pork is ready, basically, all the vegetables are ready, so we can eat. Xiao Hui nodded. I'll ask Auntie to put the dishes on the table and tell everyone to prepare for dinner. The table is set with food. Song Moding heard his aunt calling for dinner and slipped into the kitchen. He saw Zhang Xiaoxiao's expression just now and knew that his wife was feeling uncomfortable, so he wanted to comfort her. Before he could speak, Zhang Xiaoxiao pointed at the mouth-watering shrimp and braised pork that had just come out of the pot. Hurry up and serve it, this is Grandpa's favorite. Song Moding paused for a moment. Xiaoxiao, it doesn't matter if we have children or not, as long as I have you. Children are not the most important thing. You are with me, and I am happy with or without children. Just say a word and go out with the food. Zhang Xiaoxiao pursed his lips, and Song Moding really comforted himself in a straight man's way. Can't help but laugh. How much Song Moding likes children, how could she not know that? She often plays with Niu there. I also told myself that I would definitely give birth to a daughter in the future. A daughter is good and a daughter is a little cotton-padded jacket. But now I say this because I am afraid that I will feel uncomfortable. But two people can live by love when they are young, but what if they wait until they are 40 or 50? The passion subsides, and a deserted home without children will make people hate each other. This man. Follow him quickly. Zhang Xiaoxiao was the last one to come to the table. Song Moding placed the dishes in front of the old man. Grandpa, this is what Xiaoxiao made specially for you and Grandma. Try it, braised pork. The old man smiled and invited Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding to sit next to him. Sit down, Xiaoxiao, thank you for your hard work. Grandpa has been really greedy recently, he's just waiting for this bite from you. Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding sat down. Before the old man stretched out his chopsticks, Fang Xiaowai suddenly covered her mouth and got up and ran to the toilet. Song Mohuan chased after him. Everyone looked at each other. Fang Xiaowai and Song Mohuan came back after a while. Fang Xiaowai looked pale and sat down, covering her mouth. Song Mohuan explained, Xiao Hui can't smell the smell and will vomit when she smells it. Looking at the braised pork and flavored shrimp in front of the old man pointedly. The old man snorted coldly. Why didn't he want the old man to eat? Finally looking forward to a meal of my favorite, and now someone is actually stumbling upon me. Fang Xiaowai looked at the old man's face and said hurriedly. It's okay, you all can eat, I just want to trouble Xiaoxiao to help me make a bowl of clear soup noodles. I can't eat these with strong taste. Xiaoxiao's craftsmanship must be delicious. Zhang Xiaoxiao paused, and then he kicked his nose and slapped his face even before he had done anything. I still want to serve her, and I think it's too beautiful. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 404. Chapter 404, Pregnant. Sister-in-law Li, go and make a bowl of noodles for Xiaowai. Mrs. Song took a pair of chopsticks and gave Zhang Xiaoxiao a piece of flavored shrimp. Helping Zhang Xiaoxiao directly to make the decision, she is not dead yet, it is just a dream to climb over her and bully her. Good boy, you must be exhausted after working for a long time. Eat quickly and don't go hungry. Grandma will feel bad if you are hungry. Muttered softly, Fang Xiaowai was so angry that her chest was clogged. The old lady must have done it on purpose. Auntie agreed and hurriedly went to the kitchen to work. Fang Xiaowai's face turned red. She was dismissed by the old lady in person, which was even more annoying than Zhang Xiaoxiao's fight with herself. He couldn't help but secretly complain to the old lady, because she was carrying the Song family's first great-grandson in her belly. The old lady is not doing it for anything else but this, and she shouldn't do this to herself. It will kill someone if you indulge yourself. Isn't it said that old people value their descendants? Why do you have this attitude when you come to the old lady and old man's place? Are the elders in the Song family sick? Looked at Song Mohuan aggrievedly. Song Mohuan was filled with indignation when he saw his daughter-in-law being wronged, especially when she saw Fang Xiaowai's aggrieved and tearful eyes. The manly spirit in my heart exploded. Stand up immediately. Grandma, why are you like this? Xiaowai is pregnant now and is not feeling well. She is inevitably picky about her taste. What's wrong with asking Zhang Xiaoxiao to make a bowl of noodles? Anyway, she is so good in the kitchen. It's just a matter of a bowl of noodles. Why do you still care so much? He glared at Zhang Xiaoxiao fiercely. Zhang Xiaoxiao didn't move at all. He was still wrong if he didn't do it. Who gives you such a big face? Before anyone else could speak, Song Moding kicked Song Mohuan to the ground. Song Mohuan, I'm warning you, no matter how old or young you are, you also call her Zhang Xiaoxiao. Remember, no matter how senior she is still your sister-in-law. Why do you ask my wife to make bowls for your wife? Noodle. Your wife is pregnant, and the child is not my Song Moding's child. Which law stipulates that your daughter-in-law is pregnant and requires my daughter-in-law to take care of her? Song Moding warned Song Mohuan, and Song Mohuan was dumbfounded. Song Moding actually dared to kick himself down in front of everyone. The leg felt as if it was broken. You can imagine how much strength Song Moding had just used. Completely ignored the parents, grandparents, uncles, and others who were present. Mo Ting, what are you doing? This is your brother. For the sake of an outsider, you beat up your own brother. You, alas. I am the stepmother, I. Song's mother cried and hugged her son. Song Mohuan was even more irritated by his mother's tears. I will curse people when I jump up my feet. At this moment, Zhang Xiaoxiao covered his mouth and ran away. Ugh. Sorry. Zhang Xiaoxiao smelled the smell of braised pork in front of him and always wondered if his skills had deteriorated because of his bad mood today. Why did it smell so bad? The fishy smell made her chest churn. I don't even care about what we are arguing about now. Otherwise, her fighting prowess would have given Song Mohuan something to say. The old lady hurriedly caught up. Xiaoxiao, Xiaoxiao, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Song Moding also followed. Vomit, vomit. Zhang Xiaoxiao lay on the toilet and vomited. Song Moding looked at Zhang Xiaoxiao, who looked pale and embarrassed. He had never seen Zhang Xiaoxiao like this before. He was so weak that he seemed about to faint. He stepped forward worriedly and stretched out his hand to Zhang Xiaoxiao. Zhang Xiaoxiao glanced at Song Moding weakly and comforted him, it's okay. I just can't stand the smell. I don't know what's going on. Is the pork stale today? Grandma, don't let Grandpa eat braised pork. It seems it doesn't taste right. The old lady was deeply touched that this child was still thinking about the old couple at this time when she was vomiting like this. Silly boy, why are you still thinking about this at this time, Xiao Li, Go make a phone call and ask the doctor to come to your home. Zhang Xiaoxiao stopped me. It was not only unlucky to have a doctor come to my door on the first day of the Lunar New Year, but the problem was that the doctor also had to celebrate the New Year. No, it's okay, Grandma, I'm okay. Song Moding shook his head and said, are you okay? You were so lively a few days ago, but today you are vomiting like this. If you say you are okay, who will believe you? My own wife knows it herself. Zhang Xiaoxiao doesn't eat much recently, much less than when he was at the forest farm. He was already worried, but now he was vomiting like this. Just leave it alone, Dr. Li will be here soon. Help Xiaoxiao to the sofa and let her sit there for a while. The old lady was eager to say hello. Song Moding didn't care about Zhang Xiaoxiao's wishes and picked him up. Zhang Xiaoxiao had to hold his neck to prevent himself from falling. Rai smile. I am not just a naive person who attracts hatred. Fang Xiaowai probably hates herself to death now, and suspects that she deliberately steals her limelight. Not really. Zhang Xiaoxiao felt uncomfortable in his chest again. Aunt Li took a look and hurriedly opened half of the window. Speak to the old lady in a low voice. Old lady, I think Xiaoxiao is pregnant. This is what happens when my country daughter-in-law is pregnant. The old lady was suddenly pleasantly surprised. Looking back at Zhang Xiaoxiao, who looked ugly, and Song Moding, who looked worried. Yeah, not only did Fang Xiaowai vomit so much just now, but she also couldn't smell the braised pork on the table. Hurry, call Dr. Li and ask him to come quickly. Command his eldest son. Song Qingyuan smiled bitterly and called to urge Dr. Li. Fang Xiaowai hated it in her heart. Zhang Xiaoxiao definitely did it on purpose. It was just like Zhang Xiaoxiao estimated. She thought in her heart that Zhang Xiaoxiao just didn't want to see her well. I thought I was pregnant to seize Zhang Xiaoxiao's limelight, and I did not deliberately pretend to be ill. Look at how busy the whole family is with Zhang Xiaoxiao. She, a pregnant woman and the mother of a great-grandson, has been left alone. Look at the treatment of the two of them. Her husband could get beaten by Song Moding just by saying a word for him. Just like that, no one cared about him, no one said anything, and everyone went over there to see Fang Xiaoxiao. What's going on? Fang Xiaowai covered her mouth and ran to the toilet to vomit. As soon as Fang Xiaowai left, others suddenly realized the taste. Zhang Xiaoxiao and Fang Xiaowai seemed to be very similar. Look at the old lady looking at Zhang Xiaoxiao with a surprised look on her face. In an instant everyone had a guess. Zhang Xiaoxiao is not pregnant, right? Who is still interested in eating at this time? Dr. Li came quickly and examined Zhang Xiaoxiao. After the old lady gave her private instructions, Dr. Li took Zhang Xiaoxiao's blood and urine and returned to the hospital. It's really a hard life. I have to work overtime during the Chinese New Year. But the old lady was waiting there, and he dared not go. An hour later, Dr. Li called. Zhang Xiaoxiao is 4.5 weeks pregnant. Hearing the news, Zhang Xiaoxiao was confused. Pregnant. The old lady and old man looked happy, and Song Moding hugged Zhang Xiaoxiao with joy in his eyes. Xiaoxiao, we have a baby. Zhang Xiaoxiao nodded excitedly. She would finally have her own child in this life. She thanked God for giving her this opportunity, a chance to be a mother. The whole family is happy, this is a double happiness. The two grandsons-in-law have children, how can they be unhappy? End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 405. Chapter 405. It's time for us to get rich. Fang Xiaowai sat there bitterly, tearing the handkerchief in her hand, while Song Mohuan kept his head drooped and remained silent. Now he is so shocked that he doesn't know what to say. Song Moding was always doted on by his grandparents, but now Song Moding's daughter-in-law is also pregnant. Seeing how happy his grandparents are, they are even happier than his own daughter-in-law's pregnancy. I originally thought I had a chance to fight. It's completely ruined now. Xiao Xiao, Mo Ting, move back here quickly, otherwise grandma won't worry, grandma must take care of you personally, and besides, our home is conveniently close to the university where you go to school. After the old lady finished speaking, the surrounding atmosphere became even more silent. Someone laughed out loud without knowing what was happening. In exchange for a look from Song Qingyun. It is his daughter Song Makan. Being glared at by her father, Song Makan smiled and said, "Grandma, please save me. Look at the look in my father's eyes. He wants to eat people." Hold the old lady to make the decision for herself. The old lady looked at her eldest son's dark face that had not yet recovered. "What are you doing?" "We are celebrating the new year, our family is celebrating double happiness, why are you staring at me?" "It's not just because I laugh out loud. Some people are busy and busy in vain, and some people are born with no need to worry. I just laugh." "Grandma, your heart is still unusually biased. In the past, you were biased towards Song Mo Ting went alone, and now you are partial to Song Mo Ting's wife. We grandchildren have no status at all. When Mo Ting's son is born in the future, hey. Dad, I want to run away from home." The playful joke made Fang Xiaowai and Song Mohuan even more embarrassed. "Is talking about them." Just now, Song Mohuan said that his wife wanted to move back to live with the old man and the old lady. The old lady just slapped her in the face and refused. The old lady cried and shouted that she wanted Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moting to move back. Can't you see this differential treatment? Song Mohuan felt sick in his heart. Even when it came to marrying a daughter-in-law, she couldn't compare to Song Moting. She thought she finally had the upper hand when it came to having a child. This is good, still the same. How could Song Moting be so lucky? Your daughter-in-law is pregnant at this juncture. This is not intentional. Mother Song said bitterly, the old man and the old lady still prefer Mo Ting, how can Mo Huan compare? The old lady didn't even look at Mother Song, I'm just biased. You all have parents who care about you and protect you. Who else is Mo Ting? Apart from us old couple, tell me that he has been wronged. Who of you will take him seriously? Why should I be partial to my brother? Everyone was speechless, who dared to have an opinion. The old lady had a fierce and angry look on her face just now. When she turned around, she immediately looked like a gentle and kind grandmother and asked Zhang Xiaoxiao. "Xiaoxiao, what do you want to eat? Grandma will cook it for you herself. I can't wait to hold it in my hand." Zhang Xiaoxiao is helpless. "Old lady, do you know how hatred is caused?" "Grandma, I just want to eat something light, there are all on the table, so don't be too busy. Look, everyone is hungry because of this, let's eat quickly." I didn't see Aunt Li looking over there a few times, just wanting to heat up the food. Look, you're still a little sensible, eat, eat." Aunt Li quickly heats up the food. He held Zhang Xiaoxiao's hand and said, "Sit next to Grandma. Grandma will add some food to you. I'm sure you will like it." Song Moting looked at the position where he was pushed to the side. "Grandma, this is my wife. The protest is invalid." The old lady turned back and rolled her eyes at him. "This is also my grandson's wife." Everyone sat down one after another. Zhang Xiaoxiao changed his position this time and sat next to the old lady. Song Moting forced the old man to the other side. "What are you doing? I want to be next to my grandson-in-law." The old man watched his imperial chair being taken away. "Hold up your chopsticks and shout." Song Moting pointed at the braised pork and said, "Grandpa, Xiaoxiao can't smell the braised pork. Do you want braised pork or granddaughter-in-law?" Now everyone is robbing him of his wife, which is fatal. Mr. Song looked at the braised pork and Zhang Xiaoxiao, "Then I'll eat first today and change it back tomorrow." The braised pork obviously defeated the treasure in Zhang Xiaoxiao's belly. Fang Xiaowai saw that no one was paying attention to her. That sour feeling in my heart. Why is Zhang Xiaoxiao so lucky? After finishing the meal, everyone dispersed one after another. In the past, after dinner, you could play mahjong and cards, and you would go back after dinner. Today, after dinner, the old lady thought they were too noisy, and asked Zhang Xiao to take a rest, so she kicked them out. The three brothers Song Qingyun and Song Qinghe had no choice but to return home with their families. Song's mother did not give Fang Xiaowai a good look all the way. This daughter-in-law was so disappointing that she could not win back the old lady's heart even though she was pregnant with a child. Also gave Zhang Xiaoxiao the upper hand. Fang Xiaowai's grievance had nothing to do with herself. She didn't expect it to be like this. Zhang Xiaoxiao is just as promised. Deliberately showing off, then a blow, and then she becomes cannon fodder. Song Qinghe looked at Fang Xiaowai, covering her mouth with a look of despair. She was also worried about the child in her daughter-in-law's belly. He gave Mother Song a warning look and said, "Say less, what does it have to do with Xiaowai?" Back home, Song Mohuan made an excuse to go to the hospital. In fact, Fang Xiaowai knew that Song Mohuan had arranged to go out with friends. Feeling aggrieved. Why am I so unlucky? Fang Xiaowai was unwilling to give in. She couldn't watch Zhang Xiaoxiao be proud. Zhang Xiaoxiao must have been reborn like her. Then don't blame her. Fang Xiaowai also went out with her bag on her back, euphemistically saying she was going to get some fresh air. After vomiting for a day, Song's mother and Song Qinghe could smell it when they saw Fang Xiaowai. It's good for your daughter-in-law to go out for a walk. It saves them from being upset. Fang Xiaowai walked to the third house in an alley. Knock on the door. She is familiar with this family because she married next door in her last life and was deceived by that ungrateful person. She didn't know who lived next door before, but she gradually learned about it. The three brothers in this family all hang out with the gangsters on the internet. There are a lot of bad friends, and they all do shady things. Who? I'm here to buy things. Fang Xiaowai gave the code. Rebirth is not a secret, you must know the basic password. Sure enough, the people inside opened it suspiciously and looked at her. Then come in. Half an hour later, Fang Xiaowai went out and left. I feel happy, and even the feeling of nausea has dissipated a lot. No one knew that not long after Fang Xiaowai walked out, someone followed her to the Song family. They watched Fang Xiaowai enter the door before going back. The three Zhou brothers were shocked when they heard that they were from the Song family. It seems that someone offended the Song family, so they asked them to teach him a lesson. This business is really worth it. Brother, we are going to get rich. Zhou Laosan proudly waved the banknotes in his hand. One leg, one arm, $500. Yes, it's time for us to get rich. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 406. Chapter 406 Returning. Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding finally went back. They would go back to their parents' home tomorrow, the first day of the Lunar New Year, and Zhang Xiaoxiao couldn't bear to disturb the old man and his wife. The old man has only been well for a while. The old lady only let the man go after 1,000 warnings. Song Moding drove the car and looked at his wife. Are you still sick? My daughter-in-law is in good health, with no major illnesses or minor disasters. She vomited twice in the afternoon. Song Moding had never seen anything like a pregnant woman, so he was extremely worried anyway. It's okay, I'm really okay, don't treat me like a fragile glass bottle, just go back. Zhang Xiaoxiao touched his belly. He couldn't feel it at all now, but he felt inexplicably happy. This is her child. Being pregnant is the only thing she has never done in her life. Giving birth to a life connected by her own blood is an amazing thing. It was already dark when the two of them got home. Song Moding was about to help Zhang Xiaoxiao get out of the car, but Zhang Xiaoxiao slapped him away. Song Mo Ting San San. Zhang Xian came back from outside with her little daughter in her arms. She saw her sister and brother-in-law there at a glance. She was a little embarrassed, but she was envious in her heart. Looking at Song Moding, he knew that his brother-in-law wished he could treat his sister as his treasure. I listen to my sister in everything I say and do. But what about myself? After giving birth to the eldest and second child, my husband was quite considerate before. But since the second child also became a daughter, the husband's good looks have disappeared. The mother-in-law even scolded Sang and Huai every day, showing her face to them, mother and daughter. The husband rarely drinks or never comes home. Outsiders also see my jokes, and I and my children live cautiously, walking on thin ice. She shook her head. She had to remind Xiao Xiao if she had time. It would be impossible to have a baby as soon as possible without having a baby. But looking at the baby in her arms, she didn't want to dissuade her sister, in case it was a daughter. If your brother-in-law changes his attitude, your sister will suffer. This woman, when will she be able to live her life without caring about other people's opinions? Wu Weiguo was sitting in the car, looking at Song Moding's doting eyes, and Zhang Xiaoxiao responded mischievously. The two children seemed to be doing well. That's why this child married into the Song family. My mother had a huge quarrel with the Song family. The resentment of the previous generation has now turned into this generation. Fox, go back. You've been here all day, aren't you tired? I can't bear to see you like this. Who are you? You are Wu Weiguo, who can scare you? If I were you, I would open the door, go to the car door and tell the child clearly that I am your father. Then the father is kind and the son is filial, and life is complete. What a good thing. As for you, you are just hiding like a tortoise here. It seems that she is not your daughter. That's like cuckolding your little lover. Wu Weiguo calmly looked back at the man in black. Not a word, just looking at each other with gentle eyes. The big man in black couldn't bear it. Okay, I'm afraid of you, you are awesome. You are awesome. I can't do it if I don't say it anymore. The big man in black turned around and yawned. In the past few days, following Wu Weiguo, the most he did was follow the little girl in front of him. Let's go back. Wu Weiguo closed his eyes and leaned on the back seat. The big man in black started the car. Wu family. The joy of the first day of the Lunar New Year, this is the first time for the Wu family to be together as a family. After Mr. Feng personally inspected Xiao Cheng, he came to the conclusion that he could go back and spend a new year. But you can't eat indiscriminately, and you can't tire your child. Anyway, you can't do anything that will harm your child. If you go back for a day, you will have to go back to the hospital in the evening. Mr. Wu and Ms. Wu naturally agreed. This is the first time that their family can celebrate the new year with their grandson. In previous years, Xiao Keng's health got worse as the new year came. This time, he didn't spend the new year in the hospital. This is the first time. Mr. Wang looked at the little guy who was smiling happily, sitting peacefully on the sofa, watching his sisters and brothers leveling up, and he was watching with great interest. The child's face was rosy, and this was the first time the old man felt that he had made a mistake. Lao Feng is still better than himself. In terms of understanding people, I am not as good as him. Dad, Xiao Keng's condition is getting better day by day. Mr. Feng said that if this continues, it is really possible for Xiao Cheng to undergo surgery in a week. The child's current physical indicators are steadily improving. Even Feng the old man said it was a miracle. Wu Pingjing looked at his son, his eyes full of love. For this child, the couple never had another child, and they devoted themselves wholeheartedly to this child. Well, this Dr. Zhang is really powerful. You should respect others in the future. I felt guilty because of the unpleasantness last time. This child is admitted to medical school. You should also pay more attention to it, whether it is taking care of the younger generation or we in the Wu family are not ungrateful people when it comes to repaying others' kindness. Mr. Wu thought of Zhang Xiaoxiu's eyes and felt as if he had seen them somewhere before. Wu Pingjing said with a smile. Don't worry about it. Su Meng is more attentive to Dr. Jiang's affairs than anyone else. She has already said hello to her old classmates. It's not like you don't know that her old classmates are all studying in the medical school. Teacher, and one of her seniors is now the dean of the medical school. It would be better for her to make a phone call than us. The dean also said that our Wu family is not a backdoor family, so we would say hello like this to someone who is not from the Wu family. Even his seniors were extremely curious and wanted to meet this Zhang Xiaoxiao. Mr. Wu also smiled. No one in the Wu family uses the back door. It is really the first time in the world. Fang Ziyi and Song Mohuan returned home with gifts. I went to the Zhang family. Fang Ziyi doesn't want to go to Fang's house. That woman Yehua has been looking for her several times recently, but Fang Ziyi has avoided her. Mainly because Yehua kept pushing further and had a bigger appetite each time. Now he actually forced himself to find his mother-in-law and father-in-law to come forward and get Fang Piashong back to the city. Fang Piashong will naturally return to the city in the future. No matter how much favors are spent now, those educated youth will come back in the future. It will only be a matter of time. She didn't want to waste her favor on Fang Piashong. But it doesn't look good if you don't go back to your parents' home. Not only will you be laughed at by your husband's family, but it will also look like you can't get along with anyone. Fang Ziyi had no choice but to return to Jiang's house with Song Mohuan. Of course it's for one's own face. The two people came to the door carrying gifts, and happened to bump into Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding. Song Moding glanced at Song Mohuan. Song Mohuan really didn't want to be called Big Brother. Song Moting and him are born in a beautiful world. If it weren't for Song Moting, he wouldn't be unpopular with his grandparents now. Let him compromise with Song Moting, that is just a dream. He pursed his lips and remained silent. Song Moting did not intend to recognize this younger brother. This was not his younger brother, but evidence that his father had cheated on him during marriage. Don't think he doesn't know. Song Mohuan said he was born prematurely, but when he was born, he was white and chubby. Even the old man and the old lady said privately that the son was nothing. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 407. Chapter 407. It would be nice to be able to stay at Grandma's house for the rest of my life. Fang Ziyi still wanted to ridicule Zhang Xiaoxiao unwillingly. Sister, you are back too. Don't go around asking for relatives. We are neither relatives nor friends. Besides, according to ranking, you should call me sister-in-law. Zhang Xiaoxiao pulled Song Moding into the house. Mom and Dad, we are back. Happy New Year. Zhang Lixi and Fan Xiuying thought that their daughter-in-law and son-in-law were about to arrive. They had just changed into new clothes when they heard their daughter's voice and hurried out. This is the first time the little girl has returned home, so she must take it seriously. The couple prepared red envelopes. As soon as the curtain was lifted, Zhang Lixi and Fan Xiuying were dumbfounded. Why are there two more people? Fan Xiuying winked hurriedly and said, his father quickly asked his daughter and son-in-law to sit down. I will come after cleaning up. I have prepared 2 red envelopes myself, but now there are suddenly Fang Ziyi and Song Mohuan. I can't just drive them away. Fan Xiuying was worried, so she gave red envelopes during the Chinese New Year and went to the bank to exchange more than 200 yuan for new money. But I gave 80 red envelopes to Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding each, and the rest was given to each of my 3 granddaughters yesterday. I don't have a penny of new money in my hand. Now there are Fang Xiaowai and his wife, and the new son-in-law comes to the house for the first time. They both have no choice but to give it. Fan Qiuying had a headache, so she had to collect the remaining money in the cabinet. There is also 60 yuan in the notebook. I would like to share some of it with Zhang Xiaoxiao. But it's hard to say whether it's new or old. It is even more disturbing to be seen by others. Besides, Fan Qiuying still couldn't bear to touch Zhang Xiaoxiao's share. Clenched his teeth and said, she is biased, just be biased. She likes to be partial. Fan Qiuying found 2 more red envelopes and divided the remaining 60 yuan into 2 parts. Each 30 yuan was given in a red envelope. It should have been an even number. They were a newlywed couple, but the family only had so much money. What can she do? If the money was taken from Zhang Xiaoxiao's share and old and new were put together, would the son-in-law still understand? I'm sure I didn't prepare any red envelopes for others, and it would be even worse when the time comes. Fan Qiuying put the red envelope away and walked out directly. Outside, Qin Ming and Zhang Lishi were accompanying their 2 sons-in-law, and their daughter was talking there. Zhang Xiaoxiao was not in the house at all. He went directly to his eldest sister's house. Zhang Yu Niu's braid and let her play on the Kong while she prepared to clean up and prepare lunch. Today is my sister's return home, and they should have been the ones to return home. This is not because they, the older sisters, have robbed her of her place. Otherwise, according to his mother's temperament, she would definitely let her and Song Moding live in their home. Seeing Zhang Xiaoxiao come in, Niu, hurry up and give your aunt a New Year's greetings. Although Niu is only over a year old, she is very articulate. Zhang Yu always felt that she was partial. Compared with Zhang Xian's 2 daughters, her own daughter seemed to be smarter. This is probably because every mother sees that her children are better than other people's children. As soon as Niu saw Zhang Xiaoxiao, she clapped her hands and quickly stood up and ran over. Zhang Xiaoxiao hurriedly opened his hands, fearing that the little guy would fall off the bed. Niu threw herself into Zhang Xiaoxiao's arms, blinking her eyes, "Auntie, Happy New Year." Not only did she speak clearly, but she also held her little hands together, bowing her body to give Zhang Xiaoxiao a bow. That round body, coupled with that posture, was so cute that it made people's hearts melt. It almost made Zhang Xiaoxiao laugh. Zhang Xiaoxiao hugged Niu tightly and kissed her hard. "Put out a red envelope. This is a big red envelope for our Niu. My aunt also wishes our Niu a Happy New Year." The little guy quickly picked up the red envelope and ran back to his mother happily. He held up the red envelope in his hand and handed it to his mother happily. "Mom, my aunt gave this to me. Please keep it for me. I will buy candies when I grow up." Zhang Yuel grinned from ear to ear. You have been thinking about those candies all day long. Let me tell you, you have eaten 2 pieces of candies this morning. If you break the rules later, your mother will be angry, otherwise she will lose her teeth dropped. Niu likes sweets and can't walk without seeing them. As soon as he heard this, he immediately lowered his shoulders and threw himself into Zhang Xiaoxiao's arms. He glanced at Zhang Yu accusingly and asked a question in a low voice that made people laugh. "Auntie, can I change my mother? I want my aunt to be my mother." Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled with a smile on his face, holding Niu in his arms and kissing her. Zhang Yu hated the iron. "Can I still have this girl?" Zhang Xian saw the scene as soon as he entered the door. My heart felt sour. The 2 daughters also followed. Although the 2 little girls had returned to their grandma's house for several days, they still shrank when they saw Zhang Xiaoxiao like a mouse when seeing a cat. Hiding behind Zhang Xian, firmly holding onto the corner of Zhang Xian's clothes. Zhang Xiaoxiao stopped laughing and saw 2 timid little girls with their big eyes looking at Zhang Xiaoxiao and Niu with longing and fear. He waved and said, "Come and give New Year greetings to my aunt. Finally, I am not the youngest this year, and I must have the pleasure of being an aunt." Zhang Xian pushed the two children. "Go quickly and wish my aunt a happy new year. Have you forgotten what mom said?" Lottie and Zayadai walked slowly to Zhang Xian. The two children seemed to feel that the distance was too close and took 2 steps back. Those who behave well should kneel down and kowtow. Zhang Xiaoxiao was startled and hurriedly got out of bed and pulled the two children up. The two children were so frightened that they immediately retreated into Zhang Xian's arms. "I don't know what I did wrong to cause my aunt to act." Shaking with fear, Zhang Xian comforted the two children with a pale face. It's okay, that's my aunt, I won't hit you, really, be obedient." The anger in Zhang Xiaoxiao's heart rose and fell. He waved to the two people in a friendly manner, "Zhao Di, Lottie, come quickly, my aunt has prepared red envelopes for you. But my aunt doesn't want you to kowtow to celebrate the new year. You can just bow to my aunt. Come on, Nayuniu, give it to my two sisters. Perform one." In what era did people still kneel and kowtow to celebrate the new year? I don't know how Zhang Xian educates her children. As soon as Nayuniu heard her aunt calling her, she ran over, clasped her fists proudly, and bowed. He was still mumbling something in his mouth. "I wish my aunt a happy new year. May you have this day every year and this day every year." Zhang Xiaoxiao burst into laughter. This time, even Zhang Yu and Zhang Xian couldn't help it, laughing so hard. "This little guy is so cute." Zayadai Lottie watched Nayuniu do it, and everyone laughed. "I thought this was something that made everyone happy, so I hurriedly learned to do it. I wish my aunt a happy new year. May you have this day every year, and may you have this day every year." 3 cute kids standing together are so cute that you can't help but laugh. A room full of laughter. Zhang Xiaoxiao hugged Lottie Zayadai, gave each of them a red envelope, and tortured them severely before letting them go. The 2 little girls blushed when they were kissed. My aunt liked them very much. They are satisfied in their hearts. The people in my grandma's family are very kind. They don't beat or curse anyone, and they give them good food. They can sleep in a warm house and have plenty to eat. Lottie Zayadai feels that it would be great if she could stay at her grandma's house all her life. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 408. Chapter 408. You are going to be a grandpa. Song Moding and Qin Ming ran over when they heard the laughter, so they were arranged to watch the 3 children playing in the house, and the 3 adults went to the kitchen. Zhang Yu and Zhang Xian were already rushing to work, and Zhang Xiaoxiao became a decoration. "I could only move a small bench and sit there eating melon seeds," he asked Zhang Xian seemingly unintentionally. "Second sister, why did the second brother-in-law go back? If you and your daughter go back to your hometown by yourself, you have no idea." Zhang Xian lowered his head and said while washing vegetables. "My mother-in-law is in poor health and wants to go back to see her relatives in her hometown. She hasn't seen her in so many years and I don't know if she will see her again in the future. It's right for your brother-in-law to accompany her. Second sister, is my brother-in-law dissatisfied with you because of Zhao De Lottie?" Zhang Xiaoxiao completely tore open the fig leaf. Zhang Xian paused and said, "Your sister-in-law is not bad, she just wants a son. Your brother-in-law is right about this. Who in every household doesn't want a son? Or am I incapable of giving him a son? No wonder he is always unhappy." Zhang Xian felt guilty when talking about this matter. After all, every household puts their sons first. Preferring sons over daughters is not a family problem. She understands the desire of her husband and mother-in-law to have a son, so she works hard and is beaten and scolded without any regrets. "It's not because I have no ability and I didn't give birth to a son. Second sister, what if my brother-in-law still lets you have a child?" The family planning program was about to begin. Zhang Xian and Qin Dazhuang were both factory workers. At that time, if they dared to have more than one child, the fine would be a trivial matter and their jobs would be lost. Zhang Xian's face turned pale. Your brother-in-law asked the director of their workshop. The director said that although family planning has begun, it is not yet strictly enforced. If we hurry up, we might still be able to have children. What if this baby is still a daughter? Zhang Xiaoxiu's words are not without purpose. His sister did give birth to 3 daughters in her previous life. Zhang Xian looked ugly and shook her head. No, I can always give birth to a son. She didn't dare to think about the consequences at all, and she also complained a little in her heart. How could her sister say that? Knowing that she was in such a difficult situation in her husband's family, how could her mother-in-law and husband treat her well if she didn't have a son by her side? She didn't even dare to think about how to live in the future. This is rubbing salt into one's own wounds. Xiao Xiao, how can you say that to the second sister? Second sister, don't listen to her, she's celebrating the new year. How can anyone talk like that? This is not looking for bad luck for others. Don't worry, look at your face, it will be clear at first glance a man with both children. If you have another child, you will definitely have a son. Fang Xiaowai was not willing to be left out alone, so she also came to the kitchen. Zhang Xian originally didn't have much affection for Fang Xiaowai, her so-called biological sister. After the sister came back, they had almost no contact, and he never saw his sister every time he went back to his parents' home. I always hear my mother nagging, talking about things like Fang Xiaowai often coming back to ask for money and so on. In her mind, this sister is not as real as Zhang Xiaoxiao. At this moment, Fang Xiaowai suddenly spoke for her. Zhang Xian was just stunned for a moment. Although she felt a little comfortable in her heart, because she was obviously trying to deceive her, but she still wanted to hear nice things. But it was Zhang Xiaoxiao who said this. I feel uncomfortable in my heart. What is bad luck or not? Xiaoxiao is telling the truth. She is also telling the truth for me as a sister. I don't care what she says, so don't jump out and say such unpleasant things here during the Chinese New Year. Let mom, it would be bad to hear that. Fang Xiaowai was stunned. Is Zhang Xian out of his mind? She was for her. She was good for her. At this moment, she really dismantled her platform and was towards Zhang Xiaoxiao. It was really a good person to do it. The whole family does not know how to appreciate others. No matter what the second sister says, I am also your sister, your biological sister. I always defend you both inside and outside my words. It's not a good thing to be here with you. Instead, I am like an outsider. In fact, I am not a human being inside and outside. Okay, you are the real sisters, I am an outsider. Fang Xiaowai threw down the door curtain and returned directly to the house. If I hadn't been worried about this time, it hadn't even passed noon, and I hadn't had lunch at my parents' house. I wouldn't have been able to explain it to my mother-in-law when I got back to her house. She can leave immediately. Fan Xiuying looked at Fang Xiaowai's expression, and saw that Fang Xiaowai came out of the kitchen room. She knew that she must have fallen there. I'm also afraid that Fang Xiaowai's temper will make a big fuss during the new year, which will make everyone's faces look bad. After all, there is an uncle sitting here. He sees that his daughter is having trouble with her sisters in her natal family. What good can be done if her husband's family sees it? At that time, it wasn't Fang Xiaowai who looked down on her. Hurriedly took out the red envelope and said, come on, this is my first visit to my parents. Just accept it. Fang Xiaowai reluctantly took it, while Song Mohuan had a calm face and kept talking obediently. Mom and Dad, please come to our house if you have time. My mother also said that it was a pity not to see you two at the wedding. After all, you are also Xiaowai's biological parents, So our two families still have to come often. Go often. Fan Jiuying said with a smile. I understand, uncle, tell your parents-in-law that when we have time, we must go over and sit down. As soon as I said this, I heard a commotion in the yard. Fan Jiuying was startled, something must have happened. Go out in a hurry. He saw Zhang Xiaoxiao being helped in by Zhang Yu, his face turned pale. Fan Jiuying's heart trembled. Hurrying forward to hold her daughter up, she kept asking questions. Why is this? Didn't I tell you that your sister has just been discharged from the hospital 2 days ago? Don't let her work at home. Why do you still let her do it? Look at this little face turned pale like this. Come on, go inside quickly and lie down in mom's room for a while. He opened the curtain and helped Zhang Xiaoxiao into the house. Zhang Yu also looked worried. Xiaoxiao, did you eat something inappropriate and your stomach feels uncomfortable? See how you vomit like this. Come on, drink some water first. I don't care about my mother's partiality at all. Fang Ziyi pouted. Zhang Xiaoxiao would do this. He covered his mouth and rushed out. Who doesn't know how to do it? As if no one has children. Song Mohuan hurriedly followed him out. Fan Jiuying helped Zhang Xiaoxiao sit down and pulled a pillow for her, but Zhang Xiaoxiao grabbed her wrist. What? Are you still feeling uncomfortable somewhere? If it doesn't work, let's go to the hospital. Upon hearing this, Zhang Lishi said, then I'll push the bicycle, Xiaoxiao. Just wait. The daughter's body is important. Zhang Xiaoxiao hurriedly stopped him. Mom and Dad, I'm fine. I just. Who are you, kid? Say it quickly, you are dying of anxiety. Zhang Xiaoxiao leaned into Fan Jiuying's ear and said a few words. Fan Jiuying was happy and slapped her thigh. You girl, you knew about such a good thing yesterday, why didn't you come and tell mom? Little white-eyed wolf, just sit down and be honest. Zhang Yu had an epiphany. After leaving the house happily, Zhang Lishi rubbed his hands anxiously. What's wrong with your sister? I didn't hear anything. Dad, you are going to be a grandpa, Xiaoxiao has a child. Zhang Yu patted her father on the shoulder. Zhang Lishi was so panicked that he almost fell over. What, Xiaoxiao has a child. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 409. Chapter 409 Hug the Thigh. Lao Zhang, go and take out the jar of sauerkraut in the cellar in the corner. I pickled it this year and it tastes just right now. Also take out the fresh pears stored in the cellar and the dried apricots I made in the summer. Xiaoxiao must like this one now. Fan Jiuying thought that her daughter was doing harm. Zhang Lishi agreed and hurried out to do some work. Yes, my wife, who was a bit shy at the time, liked these things. Carrying the ladder down to the cellar, Zhang Lei supported his grandma from outside, while his grandpa, Uncle Fan Jiangguo and a strange girl came in. I saw my father moving a ladder. I asked strangely, Dad, why are you carrying a ladder during the Chinese New Year? If you have something to do, ask me to do it. It's not good for you to climb up or down. Fan Jiangguo was also wondering what his brother-in-law was doing in such a hurry. No need. I'm here. Xiaoxiao has a baby. I'll find her something to eat. If you don't know what those things are, go away quickly. Zhang Lei was stunned. My sister is pregnant. Mrs. Fan and Mr. Fan were overjoyed when they heard this. The old couple passed by Fang Ziyi, who was being supported by Song Mohuan, and ran straight into the house. Xiaoxiao, Grandma is here to see you. Fang Ziyi didn't get any attention at all. Fang Xiaowai frowned angrily. Is this family crazy? Just give birth to a child, who doesn't have a child? I am also pregnant with a child, so why is it that no one cares about me? Fan Jiangguo clapped his hands and said, oh my god, I'm going to be my uncle. Chenjiao, come on in, you're so lucky to have caught up with our family's happy event. Now it's really a double happiness. Meng Chenjiao smiled gently, who cares about double happiness? This is the first time I have come to meet my boyfriend's parents. I originally thought that Fan Jiangguo was the youngest son in the family and the director of the supply and marketing department of a department store. At least the family conditions were different. Who would have known that before I could even sit firmly on my butt, I would be dragged by an old lady and old man to meet some eldest sister and her family. Let's meet when we meet. Anyway, it's to meet the parents. Sisters and husbands should also meet. As a result, I became someone else's foil. I feel very uncomfortable. Fan Jiangguo still looked proud. Meng Chenjiao was angry and had a stomachache. I thought I could become Fan Jiangguo's treasure, but the result was not good. Before I got married, I could see that I was not even as good as a niece in other people's eyes. Fan Jiangguo didn't notice Meng Chenjiao's discomfort, and happily pulled him into the house. Fang Xiaowai and Song Mohuan followed. Song Moding was also in the house at this time. His wife started to vomit again. He was also worried. It had only been less than a month and her daughter-in-law was vomiting like this. There were still 9 months to come. It's impossible to live this life. Child, you don't mean to be your parents' little cotton-padded jacket. Why are you tormenting your mother like this? Be careful if you come out, daddy will spank you. Song Moding stared at Zhang Xiaoxiao's belly resentfully. The whole family gathered around Zhang Xiaoxiao to inquire about his welfare. Fang Xiaowai was furious. Mom, my chest feels uncomfortable and I feel uncomfortable even after vomiting for a while. Let's go back first. You can't directly say that you are pregnant, that would be Qi Qiuqiu's fight for favor. She was waiting for Fan Qiuying to ask. Fan Qiuying didn't even raise her head as she was telling Zhang Xiaoxiao about the taboos after pregnancy. You're not feeling well. Then go back after eating, or go to your sister's room and lie down for a while. Zhang Yu smiled and said, let's go. I'll take you to have a rest. She wanted to cook, but her sister had a bad taste and had to cook something light. She and Zhang Xiaoxiao had been in the county town for so long, but she still didn't know Zhang Xiaoxiao's taste. She had to take action. Thinking of that bowl of steamed pork or something, it was no good, it was too greasy and tasted bad. Pregnant women smell the smell of meat the most. She didn't even think about it. She was pregnant at that time, and she wasn't a vegetarian, so no one would feel sorry for her. Now all I want to do is get something delicious for my sister. Fang Xiaowai was so angry that she wanted to lose her temper. What did she mean? Sister, I'm fine, I just... Song Mohuan came to the rescue in time. Sister, it's okay. Xiaowai is pregnant and can't smell the smell. Zhang Yu nodded, okay, you go to my room and sit for a while, otherwise the smell in this room will be strong and you will still feel uncomfortable. Zhang Yu thought Fan Qiuying already knew. Fan Qiuying and Fang Xiaowai had been sitting in the room just now. Can you not say it? This beautiful misunderstanding lasted until after dinner. Fan Qiuying and Zhang Lishi never asked Fang Xiaowai from the beginning to the end. Sent them back early, even though they were carrying exquisite snack boxes and cans. Fang Xiaowai felt aggrieved. Everyone treats Zhang Xiaoxiao as a treasure, but he himself is just grass. Even my biological parents are like this. She has not forgotten the way Fan Qiuying gave Zhang a small red envelope just now, and the way her grandma and grandpa gave Zhang a small red envelope. That little kid Nayunia was ignorant and insisted on grabbing the red envelopes to play with. When she tore open the red envelopes, 7 or 8 pieces worth 10 yuan fell out. Still brand new. Where is my red envelope? 3 dark $10 bills made even Song Mohuan look ugly. This is not giving yourself face. Sincerely let yourself be embarrassed in your husband's family. Song Mohuan didn't even send her home, he just left halfway. Fang Xiaowai still doesn't know that Song Mohuan is angry. Fang Xiaowai thought hard, Zhang Xiao, just wait. Let you keep jumping around, she still has big thick legs. Fang Xiaowai didn't go back to her husband's house either. Carrying things, I went to a small building. The guard at the door saw Fang Xiaowai stopping someone. For what? I'm here to treat Mr. Wang, and I brought special medicine. Recently, Fang Xiaowai came up with a solution after thinking about it. She and Song Mohuan were very embarrassed in the Song family because of the existence of Song Moding. My status in my husband's family is getting worse day by day. If this continues, she will be abandoned by the Song family sooner or later. But at this time, she must strive for the greatest vested interests for herself. She sorted out many things and people in her previous life. Thinking of this guy with thick legs. In her last life, she saw this old man from a distance. She heard that he had old cold legs and had difficulty walking all year round. But Mr. Wang has a transcendent status, and he can make a family disappear with just one word. Not everyone has this right. Mr. Wang has always looked down upon the Song family because he was on good terms with the Wu family. If she remembered correctly, the Song family would be laughed at directly because of what Mr. Wang said at the banquet, and then the Song family would go from bad to worse. But in this life, if she wins Mr. Wang's love here, she can turn the situation of the Song family around. Mr. Song, Mrs. Song, and even her parents-in-law could not treat her differently. She found an old Chinese medicine doctor she knew. He was the most famous old Chinese medicine doctor in northern Beijing, specializing in treating old cold legs. If the old man's legs improve, his perception of her will be different. She specially chose this time to come because she knew that the old man's children had severed ties with him. But now I regret that I want to restore the relationship and harass the old man all day long. This is her only chance to talk to Mr. Wang. Only then would I take the risk. Not for the Song family, but also for myself. With a word from Mr. Wang, the tide will rise for her. Still suffering in the hospital? It's not that Song's mother looks down on herself, this time she wants Song's mother to know that her daughter-in-law cannot be offended. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 410. Chapter 410 Threat. Xiao Wang, is my dad here? Let's pay his New Year's greetings to his old man. Before the guard could continue to question Fang Xiaowai, someone appeared. Fang Xiaowai pinched it and got it. Xiao Wang looked at the man, woman, and 2 children in front of him, and his face was dripping with tears. Can you please stop making a fuss? The old man will not let the old man enjoy the new year happily. What a long life. With a serious face, there was no trace of a smile at all. A business-like answer. Mr. Wang told me that no one else can enter, please go back. Ache at the base of the ear. Come 3 times a day. Let people live a good life. Wang Xinyu pushed Xiao Wang away with a smile. Xiao Wang, today is the Chinese New Year. It is only natural for a daughter to return to her parents' home. You can never stop my father from sharing a family relationship with his children. You are still young and you don't understand. The more the new year comes, the more the elderly miss their children. You can't stumble the old man at this time. Let's take a look at the old man and then leave, making sure not to disturb him. As he spoke, he gave his husband a wink, and the 4 of them rushed in. Xiao Wang was anxious. Wang Lezheng discussed academic matters with 3 students, and specifically told them not to disturb them. This is not to sincerely make it difficult for yourself. You can't go in. She shouted sharply, but because she was young, the voice had no power at all, so Wang Xinyu ignored it at all. Xiao Wang, you are too lenient. It's my dad in there, no matter how bad things are. We are also biological father and daughter, how can we have an overnight feud? Stop meddling in your own business here. Remember as for your identity, you are just a guard, please open it for me. This means forcing your way in. He can't control it. I can control it. An old voice appeared, and Wang Xinyu and the 4 others paused. Mr. Wang, followed by 3 students, appeared at the door. Fang Xiaowai felt happy. The opportunity has come. Dad, you're out, this cold weather is not good for your trachea, I'll help you in. Jinyun quickly helped Grandpa in with me. Wang Xinyu was quick to think, and it was just the right time for his father to come out. No matter what, they had to change their relationship with the old man. Even if someone calls you a shameless person. Wang Xinyu helped the old man, but Wang Jiaxiang threw him away. Who let you in? I said, from now on, if you live your life and I live mine, you can't save some face for yourself? I have to say it on my face. Mr. Wang is disgusted that his children have become like this after more than 10 years. It really makes people speechless. Several students who were celebrating the Chinese New Year were afraid that he would be lonely, so they came to stay with him specially, but now Wang Xinyu also disturbed him. Wang Xinyu covered her face and cried, looking absolutely aggrieved, Dad, I just want to do my best to be filial, why are you so cruel? There was nothing we could do about what happened at the beginning, we also wanted to protect our mother, but who could have imagined that you would be hurt in the end? We had no choice. If we didn't protect our mother at that time, the whole family would be devolved. What do you think we would choose at that time? Dad, we were wrong. Since you forgive us, let us come back to you. You are so old and you really need someone to take care of you. Dad, if you feel that I am not sincere enough, can I kneel down for you? Speaking of which, I really want to kneel down. If you really kneel down during the Chinese New Year, many people will watch the fun. This place is inhabited by tightly guarded professors and prestigious academic leaders. When the time comes, people will definitely not be able to come out to watch the fun like the people in Shishijing. The problem is that it is also embarrassing. This is to force the old man to let them in. Wang Jiaxiang was so angry that he was trembling, this is his daughter. It is worse than an outsider who keeps saying that he is wrong and forcing himself to make concessions at every turn. This is not the first time this has happened. Just be ashamed of yourself. Wang Jiaxiang felt that he would not care. Crack, pa. The sound of clapping made Wang Xinyu pause in his kneeling posture. Who are you? Wang Xinyu saw a young girl carrying something in her hand, and she seemed to be visiting someone. Watch the person in front of you with vigilance. This is the first time I've seen such a shameless person. He keeps saying it's wrong, but he treats his father like this. If I were you and did something worse than a pig or a dog, I would have bought a piece of tofu and killed him. Why? I have the nerve to embarrass my father here. Animals know how to repay their parents for their kindness in nurturing them, and crows know how to feed them in return. You are worse than an animal, yet you still have the nerve to pretend to be pitiful in front of the old man. Do you think you are weak if you cry a few tears? Let me tell you, everyone's eyes are sharp. Mr. Wang's lifelong reputation cannot be slandered by you. Now just get out. Otherwise, I will expose all your background and let everyone see your true face. Don't forget what you wrote. If you take it out, do you think you, your husband, daughter and son can still sit here peacefully? Fang Xiaowai said the last sentence in a low voice, and no one heard it. Everyone saw that after Fang Xiaowai said this, Wang Xinyu's expression changed drastically, and she fled in a panic with her husband and children like a lost dog. As fast as you want. It seemed like there was a ghost chasing me. Wang Xinyu himself was terrified. How could any woman know about this? Even my father didn't know about this. If Mr. Wang knew about it, it would be easy for her daughter to sever ties with her. Watching Wang Xinyu run away, Fang Xiaowai pursed her lips and smiled, adjusted her posture, and then turned back to face Wang Jiaxiang. Mr. Wang, my name is Fang Xiaowai, and I came here specifically to see you today. I was a little angry just now. You won't blame me for meddling in other people's business, right? She must enter the Wang family's door today. Mr. Wang looked at Fang Xiaowai and saw that he did not recognize this girl. But this girl wouldn't come to help me for no reason. Recently, he has seen a lot of people who want to catch up with him. Fang Xiaowai will not be the first person, but it seems that he is lucky. At least now they can help him solve the crisis. Thank you, but I have something to do today and I won't see any guests. Besides, I don't know you. My child, you'd better go back. Wang Jiaxiang doesn't want to be with these people who have other agendas. It's too tiring. Fang Xiaowai is embarrassed. I didn't expect the old man to say that. He is really a stubborn old man. Mr. Wang, it doesn't matter. You really don't know me. I'm Song Mohuan, the daughter-in-law of the second son of the Song family. I'm here to visit you on behalf of my grandparents. I know you don't want to meet strangers. Please keep your things. I just leave now. She still understands the principle of welcoming someone in return. Wang Jiaxiang felt a little apologetic. He was an old man and had become more suspicious. Never mind. Who has never been young and looked at girls as being quite sensible, so there is no need to keep them away thousands of miles away. How about you come in and have a cup of tea before you leave? Mr. Wang left with the students after saying a few words. Fang Xiaowai agreed in surprise. Okay, old man, I can make tea. You can try my skills. She spent a lot of time playing with tea sets in her last life, and tea ceremony is her specialty. End of this chapter.